So this is a review for Horton Hatches the Egg, released in 1942. It's the 362nd in the series, and it's directed by Bob Clampett. You can find this on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 6 DVD set, and I'll have a link below to that set. A HD version has surfaced, hopefully one day that'll make its way on disc. Now, in case you haven't seen this one, I can't show you the full thing here due to copyright on YouTube, but it's an adaptation of the classic Horton Hatches the Egg book by Dr. Seuss. So you have a lazy bird hatching an egg, but she decides, you know what, I'm going to get this dumb elephant to hatch the egg for me so I can be all lazy, and the entire short is about Horton just wanting to fulfill his duty of hatching this egg. And it's a very charming short, and I will go through that in this review. So first up, you're going to see a re-edit of the original audio commentary I did before I had to take that down, and that's with my good friend Blue Genocide, who helped edit this review. After that, I will give you some further details that I missed the first time round, and a conclusion. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And with me today is my fellow Dr. Seuss expert, I think, the Blue Genocide. Say hi.
Let's just say that most of my Dr. Seuss opinions will get me crucified.
There's a lot to talk about this one, and this one's one of the longest, if not the longest, Looney Tunes short. I thought Country Detours was, but I think this one's longer. But anyway, it's long. I'll just say a few bits of trivia as we watch this beautiful restored print, regardless of one's thoughts on the cartoon.
Oh, yeah. If I can say anything, it is beautiful.
It's the first and only Warner Brothers adaptation of Dr. Seuss. And this is based off not based off, this is pretty much the book, the 1940 book, Horton Hatches the Egg. So, yeah. Now, this is the first quote-unquote pure Clampett short, where with Tex's old unit, that he didn't have anything to do with Tex actually coming up with the story and all that stuff. So, yeah, so this is pure Clampett, although one could argue, well, it's not quite pure because Dr. Seuss is involved, but whatever, there's no Avery involvement anyway. I personally love this one. I think as an adaptation, see, my biggest problem with Dr. Seuss adaptations in general is that they take these really short stories and they just pad it like to the point of absolute ridiculousness. I mean, I the other day I saw, Horton Hears a Who, that redo in the 2008, and they had an anime sequence in there for some weird reason, and a song at the end that was so out of place. Like, they were just padding it. But this one is the right length considering the book, I think.
The thing about it is that I don't hate this cartoon. I think it's very pretty. I think the story is kind of sweet. There's a lot of good stuff in here. The voices, of course. And, the animation is, of course, superb. I just think it runs a little bit long. Thing is, we're already like 4 minutes in, and we've basically just set up the premise.
Even though it's like a short book adaptation, it's
I don't know. I mean, I don't find it that funny in places either.
I think it's fine, but look, this is going to be a difference of opinion, obviously. But I think it's sweet, as you mentioned. Like, we both agree on that, at least. I think it's quite funny. I mean, my kids also love this one. I've shown this to them a few times.
I loved this as a kid too. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's my current mood, and like in a year or so, I'll change my mind. But I just feel like it runs a little long.
Like in the animation there, for example, where he's tying up his nose, like if you look at it very, very closely, frame by frame, his front feet turn into the fingers form. It's really amazing just how Clampett would just get these animators to do stuff like that. It's like, okay, the Alpha doesn't have any fingers, but you know what? He's going to have fingers for this brief moment to tie up the trunk, Austin Kelly gave me some info because he couldn't join us today, and he thinks it's a masterpiece, so I'm sorry, Blue, it's 2 against 1. Sorry. So he basically mentioned to me that Schlesinger didn't want to pay squat for the rights to adapt this book, which, like I said, it came out in 1940, and this came out in 42. So it would have been in development in 41. But according to Clampett, at least, he had to get the right himself. If you look at the model sheets for this one, you'll notice NICE Gibson's written in the corner of each sheet. Nick was the layout man on this cartoon, according to a Variety article from August of 1941. The same article attributes Mike Maltese and Rich Hogan for writing and gagging the cartoon. Mike Sasanoff would have painted Nick's background layouts. And finally, according to Clampett, he and Maltese took his copy of the Horton book and just added gags in it, and that would be used as the storyboard in this cartoon. And of course, according to Clampett, Leon said he would only be allowed to make the cartoon if he could guarantee some laughs. So
I don't know. Like, I just feel like this cartoon would be a lot stronger if it was like maybe faster paced. And I just thought of this. This cartoon
you
came
love
out
Peter Lorre
around
here,
the
though.
same time. Well, yeah, of course I love Peter Lorre. Everybody should go see the classic silent film M. First of all, I just gotta say that like anytime Peter Lorre shows up. Dumbo came out around the same time. This is really close to the release date of that, and honestly, if I want to see some sad elephants or pink elephants, sorry, I'm still gonna go watch Dumbo.
If it wasn't for the songs in, say, The Grinch, which is another adaptation that Chuck Jones will do later with MGM. If it wasn't for the songs, that special would have only been about 10 minutes long, just like this, or maybe slightly longer. But
I just want to say I do love that adaptation. Please don't come to my house and kill me.
I also want to point out that this is not the last time Dr. Seuss will be involved with Warner Brothers. We will be involved in the Private Snafu shorts, those wartime shorts. But Seuss would also, get involved with Jones on 2 specials, Horton Hears a Who, the much better version, and of course The Grinch, and he'll be involved with Friz Freleng via to Paddy Freleng in the 70s for Cat in the Hat and things like that. It's got a nice, cute little ending. I mean, I've always maintained that Clampett was also great at doing cute as well. I think that's Rod Scribner with the angry animation there of the bird. and look at the crowd there. That's like this
short looks great. Like, I'm not saying that. I just think it runs like a minute or 2 long.
Sure. No, that's understandable. But so those are my original thoughts, and I'm curious if my editor has changed his tune on it, if he's in a better mood with watching this one. I don't know. But look, I do think this is an absolute classic, and it's one that I like to frequently visit, and I hold this one up as one of the best Dr. Seuss adaptations ever made. One thing I wanted to point out is that they didn't actually use storyboards in this one, and Clampett just simply took the book and added his own sensibilities and used it as a storyboard. So he basically added things like the Hutsut song, the celebrity caricatures, the sex appeal gags, etc. So the book itself had come out in 1940, and as mentioned in the commentary track, Schlesinger didn't want to pay anything to get the rights for it, and of course Clampett ended up making it. But this is the first of the 2 Horton books, and the other one is the arguably more well-known Horton Hears a Who, and later on that will be adapted by Chuck Jones, and of course the really ordinary 2008 movie. So as mentioned in the track, yes, this is the only Dr. Seuss adaptation that Warner's ever did, but Dr. Seuss himself, not long after this release, would actually be with the studio, helping to work on those Private Snafu shorts, and both Chuck Jones and Friz Freleng would end up working on various Dr. Seuss properties over the years. Now, as per Keith Scott's wonderful book, Cartoon Voices, he breaks down who does what in terms of the voices. So, Frank Graham is the narrator and does the voice of one of the hunters. Sarah Berner does all the birds. Clampett himself voices one of the hunters. Now, Kent Rogers, and this is interesting, this showcases his range and what a tragedy was when he did pass away so young. But he does Horton, he does a friend, the giraffe, and the Peter Lorre fish. So again, you can see his range there. He was a superb talent, and he would sadly pass away a year or 2 after this short was released. The vocal group heard consists of the voices of William Days, Maxwell Smith, John Rain, Paul Taylor, and interestingly enough, Thurl Ravenscroft, who would coincidentally do the singing voice of the Grinch in the TV special in the 60s. And one of the things I was reading via an article by the late great Jim Corcus, via an article on Cartoon Research, apparently Dr. Seuss wasn't particularly happy on the additions that weren't in the book. I believe he was also feeling the same way about Chuck Jones's adaptation of The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Maybe he just wanted things pure, I don't know, but anyway, that's what has been written. So looking at the short itself, now unfortunately in restoring this short, the original titles are presumed to be lost. However, there is an original cell showing one part of it. Be nice if they could find it. It's not the end of the world that they can't. Still, at least we can have some indication of what the opening titles would have looked like. One of the things, of course, is with Clampett taking over the text every unit, is that right away he takes full advantage of the strength of his animators, and you can see the beautiful animation of the bird in the beginning, just all those expressions. Over the years after this, until he leaves the studio, this is what Clampett would end up excelling at, and you can already see how Clampett implements his animators to full use. So, as mentioned, one of the additions here is that Hut Hut song in the beginning, and that was a nonsense song that came out in 1941, and it was very popular. Supposedly, it's a garbled version of some sort of a Swedish folk song, hence when Horton says, I can't get the words to that song, well, that's because the whole thing's just nonsense lyrics, so it's a bit of a play on that. And it's very catchy, by the way, and it's a perfect choice for this short. So probably the closest you'll ever get to something sexual in a Seuss adaptation is when the bird tries to make herself look a bit, well, busty. But she just changes physique all of a sudden, and it's just weird how she tries to flirt with this elephant somewhat. Just a very weird gag, but yeah, it's very Bob Clampett, really. And then we also get a dad joke with the bags under the eyes, which, hey, you gotta have that, right? You definitely do. Another addition, and again, I don't think there's anything wrong with this, it's just Clampett's sensibilities. So the bird says, yep, I'm going to go, but then briefly comes back to get more luggage, including golf clubs and whatever. So I think it's pretty funny. Look, I can understand if Seuss didn't like it, but I think that these sort of additions add to the charm of this short. And as mentioned in the track, and yes, even my good friend Blue Genocide agreed, despite not being a huge fan of this short looks beautiful, especially in this HD print. Looking at the seasons change, all the different colour choices, it's fantastic, and I do wonder if Clampett got a bit of flack for maybe spending a bit of extra money making this short, because this looks like something that would have cost a lot more than the usual short. Maybe then after this, Clampett did a few quote-unquote quicker shorts just to get back on budget and on schedule. But one thing I noticed now is as the water rises and you see the trunk appear, I never really noticed the echoey sound effect when it's just the trunk talking. Nice little touch there, I just never noticed that before. So we get a parody of Katharine Hepburn, both here and towards the end, where the whole, really I won't, that particular line of dialogue, and that's, yeah, a parody of Katharine Hepburn and the way she would talk, and it's certainly not the first nor the last time that they'll parody Katharine Hepburn in a Looney Tunes short. So we see the egg sneezing when it's cold. This is another example of where Clampett can be really cute and heartfelt when he wants to be, and he does it so well. He does all sorts of extremes really well, whether it be just characters going absolutely insane to cute and heartfelt moments, as you can see in that scene. One other touch I liked here is the Seuss drawings of all the animals, and they're done really well here. Because on the one hand, you got the Clampett animators going all out with the characters, and yet a lot of the background characters look like they're pretty much lifted from the book. It's absolutely great. That said, the animals are real jerks here, aren't they? They just basically go there, see Horton, make fun of him, and just go about their daily business. It's like, alright, I hope Horton remembers that and stays the hell away from them. Then we see the hunters, and of course Alpha Gunner just has to be a huge gun, right? And just the exaggeration of the three hunters with this massive gun that's patent pending. Well, of course it is, right? And one of my favourite gags here, and for a lot of people too, I would imagine, is the narrator says that it's a rifle aimed straight at his heart, and of course it's aimed at his rear. And if you look at one of the hunters, it kind of looks like Fat Elmo with hair and a monocle. I don't know, I just noticed that when I paused this to look at some other detail, but anyway. And yeah, I love the whole, oh no you can't, oh yes we can, that whole exchange. I think it's hilarious. Some may argue maybe goes a bit too long, but I don't know, I think it's just about right. And then we see that really weird carriage thing. You got the odd wheels, and the little guy is clearly not even moving this particular thing. It's just a nice, really weird touch, and it suits this world really well, I think. It's just a nice little touch there. And yes, we get the famous Peter Lorre fish, which is usually cut for television for obvious reasons. And we get the now famous, well, now I've seen everything, which will be repeated in quite a few shorts. And then, yes, as we finish the short, just look at the backgrounds. And I guess this was one way for Clampett to rein in costs on this one. He would just have the background characters as just part of the background, as opposed to animating them. Yeah, that's the whole short right there. Revisiting this one interesting thing that I did notice when comparing it to later feature film Dr. Seuss adaptations is the use of pop culture references. So here they're kept to a minimum. So you got the Katharine Hepburn and Peter Lorre, and you get a few cheeky jokes sprinkled throughout this short, but it still works. It still feels timeless despite these gags. Whereas the later ones, all the pop culture references stick out like a sore thumb, and in fact, some of the older ones now sound even dated by comparison. They're just not very good films. Honestly, I think they're all terrible. All of them. The live-action ones, the animated ones, they're not very good. The only one that's even close to being decent, because they put a lot of thought into it, is the Grinch that Ron Howard directed. But even then, I never really particularly took to that film. But as for the animated ones, the best one would have to be the 2008 Horton film. But again, there's some baffling choices there, adding an anime sequence and all sorts of various dialogue choices that try and make it more hip. It's a shame, because that one, if I squint, I can enjoy it more, but yeah, that one definitely isn't particularly good. And the irony is that Dr. Seuss's widow at the time didn't like it. She then lets Illumination make Dr. Seuss adaptations, and they're even worse. So anyway, I don't want to go on a negative rant about that for too long, but yeah, it's just me saying that just stick with this one, stick with the Grinch, stick with Horton Hears a Who, and all the Patty Freeling stuff. They're the best ones. So I disagree with my good friend Blue Genocide on this being too long. I think the length is just right, and it tells its message perfectly, just like in the book. And this is definitely a case of the director expanding things, but in such a way that it doesn't impact the book's messages, and it keeps things entertaining. And this one's a masterpiece, and it gets 10 out of 10 for me. I know, very high score, but it well and truly is one of Bob Clampett's classics. Now, I will say I do prefer Clampett's more wild and wackier shorts to come, but if you take this one on its own, it's a masterpiece, no question. So, that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.